President Donald Trump says he presumes missing Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi is dead and that the U.S. response to Saudi Arabia will likely be very severe. Turkish police are searching a forest on the outskirts of Istanbul for the remains of Mr. Khashoggi, more than 2 weeks after he vanished after entering the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, two senior Turkish officials told Reuters. Mr. Trump, who has forged closer ties with Saudi Arabia and the 33-year-old Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, acknowledged for the first time today that Mr. Khashoggi, a U.S. resident and Washington Post columnist, had likely been killed. It certainly looks that way to me. It's very sad, Mr. Trump told reporters. In an interview with the New York Times, Mr. Trump based his acknowledgement that Mr. Khashoggi was dead on intelligence reports. Turkish officials have said they believe Mr. Khashoggi was murdered at the consulate and his body chopped up and removed. Riyadh strongly denies the allegations and said it is investigating the disappearance of the journalist, who was critical of Saudi rulers, calling for reforms. Mr. Trump spoke hours after receiving an update from Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on the results of Mr. Pompeo's emergency talks in Saudi Arabia and Turkey this week. In the New York Times interview, Mr. Trump also expressed confidence in intelligence reports that suggest a high-level Saudi role in the suspected killing of Mr. Khashoggi. However, Mr. Trump said it was still a little bit early to draw definitive conclusions about who may have been behind it. Mr. Pompeo told reporters he advised Mr. Trump that Saudi Arabia should be given a few more days to complete its investigation into the disappearance of the journalist, which has caused an international outcry and strained Saudi relations with Western countries and corporations. Mr. Trump said he was waiting for the results so that we can get to the bottom of this very soon and that he would be making a statement about it at some point. Asked what would be the consequences for Saudi Arabia, Mr. Trump said, "Well, it'll have to be very severe. I mean, it's bad stuff. But we'll see what happens." The United States considers Riyadh a linchpin in efforts to contain Iran's regional influence and a key global oil source, and Mr. Trump has shown no inclination to mete out harsh punishment to the Saudis. The United States and other Western nations are in a dilemma of how to respond because of lucrative business ties, including weapons sales to Riyadh.